Hello, everybody.
I was waiting for you. Hello.
I like to talk when somebody's on. I feel like I'm talking to a mirror.
Well, as soon as we see
I feel like I
someone.
should pick my teeth.
Pick your teeth?
Because I'm looking in a mirror. Isn't that hilarious?
So did someone, what does that say?
Somebody, I don't know.
Oh, someone shared it.
Well, no, somebody shared something off my Instagram.
Oh, okay.
People are going to be stopping on soon.
They better. I hope
They will. I did that whole thing. I got many of people. You know how it is. It takes a few minutes.
know.
For
Come on, people. Get on.
Start yelling at them. No, come on.
Chip, chop, chip.
Oh, somebody
Yeah,
popped on.
okay.
See, somebody popped on. Somebody likes us.
Thank you, Kathleen. Happy Tuesday. Today we are talking about, we're going to start the show off with Valentine's Day and Super Bowl's coming up.
Yes, we do have a special guest today.
Yeah,
We are going to be talking to Unruly Yuli.
Woo! The 11-year-old cartoonist, fabulous.
Yes, because he is just a wealth of knowledge when it comes to comic books and all sorts of stuff. He made us feel like we had to go back to school, which is good because I always want to learn.
Yes, exactly.
I don't care if it's from a 5-year-old, a 12-year-old, or a 50-year-old.
Or 100 year. I would love to live. Yeah, 100.
You know what I'm excited about the Super Bowl?
What? Oh.
So Matthew Stafford is going to be at the Super Bowl, and what am I doing? This is the Lions. He's not with the Lions anymore, is he?
No.
Well, between Matthew Stafford
But
and Eminem, it's the closest we've ever been.
I know. You liked it.
What? I did have a Lions towel, right?
Yes,
This is
it
a
was
Lions
Lions.
towel.
Oh, how about 70? Yes, 70-year-olds are very knowledgeable.
And
yes.
70 and 100-year-olds.
You know what? It doesn't matter. There's knowledge in everybody.
There's knowledge in everybody. And those who decide that somebody's too young to learn from or too old to learn from are the people who have no knowledge.
Right. We dismiss you.
Right now.
So, we are going to talk about, come in and get prepared for the Super Bowl. We have tons of appetizer plates, trays,
All sorts of stuff.
bowls for punch, for your chips, your dip, your veggies, for your nachos.
It's kind of interesting because you've got the Super Bowl and Valentine's Day on the same weekend. Well, Valentine's Day is actually Monday. The Super Bowl is Sunday. So you've got something for
the boys.
Well, I know a lot of girls who like the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, I know too. Yeah, they love it.
I know a lot of girls who love the Super Bowl, and their husbands actually go and do other stuff because they're not big fans.
Really? That's awesome.
It depends on who plays.
Yeah.
Really.
I guess if you're like.
So you're going to spend the day on Sunday watching the Super Bowl. Then on Monday you probably have to work. So you better be taking her out to dinner or
on Saturday.
On Saturday night or on Monday night.
But come on in and get some Valentine's Day gifts for him and her. Either way, or moms, dads, children. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have. It's whoever you love, who you care about. It doesn't have to be, all romantical. Valentine's Day is just about showing someone you love them.
Yes,
so come in and get some gifts.
So. Remember, Valentine's Day is Sunday, so be in here on Friday or Saturday to pick up your gifts for your loved ones, and then also all the stuff you need for your Super Bowl party.
Yep, all kinds of cool glasses, drinking.
Look what I'm wearing.
Comics, Marvels.
Who is this?
Marvels.
This is Marvel, right?
Iron Man, the Hulk, Spider-Man, Captain America,
Who's this?
Venom,
Sony, also Marvel.
Yeah, very cool.
I'm wearing this for a reason, Star Wars.
I'm wearing Star Wars.
We're going to talk about Star Wars being a comic in a minute. So,
it's a comic.
I am going to introduce Yuli. Come on up.
Come on, Yuli.
Hello, everybody.
There he is. Yay! Where are the hearts? Where are the hearts? Where are the
We
hearts?
need hearts for you.
We need hearts.
The happy face, the hearts.
Happy faces,
And
hearts.
We all remember Jason. So,
that's Yuli's
My dad.
dad.
Yep.
Don't be dad.
Don't be dad.
and here come the hearts.
Here
Look at
come the
that.
hearts. And the hearts. Hooray.
So before we get into Yuli and everything that he's going to tell us about,
Wow, they're spamming hearts.
and everything that he's going to tell us about,
Thank you.
we're going to talk about Star Wars for just a quick second.
Okay.
Because we have this cool.
Right, sure.
First, I got to tell you, look at this. Isn't that cool? The box alone is cool.
Yeah, I know. I was
Here,
like,
hold it
what
closer
the
up
heck
to the
is
camera.
Is it really 1978?
Yeah, it's the original.
1978 Star Wars.
The calendar for 1978 Star Wars. So it's never been opened. Never been opened. It's never been used. And what's funny is you could mail it right from. It's like a big
We're
postcard.
getting hearts on it.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
That's
Look at
super
that.
Cool.
So, Star Wars, Jason.
Yeah.
Was it a comic first or was it not?
It was a movie first, and after
Was
the
it
success of the
okay.
film, Marvel Comics
I got
was
my
able to
Star Wars
parlay
shirt
that
on.
into
She's got a
monthly
Star Wars
A
comic
monthly.
book.
Is it still?
It was a newspaper strip then for a while as well, which sort of took the original adventures. But because they were in between the movies and weren't sure where the story was going to go, the creativity they were able to take it sort of in their own direction. So
Wow.
if you get the comic books from the 1970s, the Star Wars stuff, a bunch of characters and a bunch of adventures you never really heard of. Took them in a different way.
So that could explain a lot of the movies that are happening that people are like, what?
Yeah, some people pick that
What?
stuff up. Some people really enjoy
Yuli
listening to
has
that, you
this
know.
as a
Awesome.
Lego set.
I'm
Yeah.
talking to a
And I
Star
got
Wars.
it on
Sorry,
clearance.
we were getting
See,
excited.
And I
look
got
at
it
this.
on
I
clearance.
hope you heard what he said about Star Wars, because Star Wars was a movie first, kind of like Carrie.
Here, get up there when you're talking.
Actually,
you
Carrie
need
was
to
a book
move.
first.
Yep.
Yep.
Excuse me.
So, Star Wars, you said, was a comic after the movies came
Yes,
out.
after the success, a lot of those properties, people were always on the lookout, and Marvel seemed to be pretty adept at picking up which properties were going to be hot, where they would take them and run with them. Conan the Barbarian,
Mhm.
which was a book first, and then ran as comics, then they made the movie, they did comic adaptations,
Isn't that
you
cool?
know, all that sort of stuff. And then the number of publishers who then, when the rights expire, get a hold of it, they also sometimes take it in a new direction, or they go back and find the old stuff, reprint those, and pick up new things to put in as well.
So we wonder why, this is a standing knowledge of comic books, why his son Yuli is writing his own comic book, right? How does Eaton tell us
What a
what you've been up to?
coincidence.
All right.
Coincidence.
So
Thank you,
since,
Dad.
So since last time,
Thank you, Dad.
Oh, thank you, Dad.
You're
Thank you, Dad.
Very welcome.
So since last time, I have been working on some new comics, and I figure I collected some of my older work.
Sorry, everybody. Go ahead and sit down.
Oh my gosh, all this rearranging.
So I gathered some of my older work, so this would make sense. So
Oh, did you?
this
Okay.
is I would.
This is older work, so this is prior.
So what I would do is I would first sketch out all of my stuff in pencil. Then I would take my dad's lightboard, which he so greatly gave me.
I love the
Thank you.
lightboard. That's awesome.
So I would trace it out with pen. Then what I would do is I would make a few copies of it, take it, put it in a little bit of a booklet, and then I would give it to my friends and family.
That's awesome. So on your Instagram page, which is what?
T-Rex _roar _comics.
Tell them.
My Instagram account on Instagram, T-Rex, like the dinosaur, _roar _comics.
And is this the one that you posted, the page?
I haven't posted this
You haven't
yet.
posted any of
This,
these yet.
I just,
Look at these.
because I think I want to redo this one,
Mhm.
so
You're gonna redo it? But look at this. He put a comic book together. So we got a comic book here that how cool is that? Isn't that cool? He put together his own comic book. Now, upon me doing some research on different types of comics, there's quite a few people that do comics like you do.
Yes.
It's awesome.
actually I have a lot of people who have followed me or subscribed to me on Instagram who do their own comics.
yeah, they have the same interest, right?
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Follow him back.
It's actually a comic is a really big thing, and a lot of people really like comics.
That's awesome. So, some of your favorite stuff. So Yuli brought in some of the books that inspire him. Some of the comic books that inspire him, as well as some books. Because if you remember correctly, in our last one, in our last interview, Yuli said that it is very important for comic book writers and comic book artists to read standard books.
Yes.
And so why is that again?
Because it sort of spaces out, and you get a feeling of what, how should I say this? But you get a feeling for how prose books are,
Mhm.
and how they word things and display things, and how comic books, instead of describing things, such as Jeff walked into the room, it was
Mhm.
dark and tall, they may show Jeff walking into a tall, dark room.
Very good.
See?
You love it.
So, reading. So, one of my questions to you ties into, especially being 11 years old and you're
Yes.
still in school, homeschooled or in school. You're
Yes.
still in school. How do you balance your day when it comes to? Let me finish the question. When it
Okay.
comes to your responsibilities at home, from your schoolwork to your chores, and than writing and drawing your comics out, because a lot of kids want to do it and maybe have a hard time balancing out that time. So how do you think that you do it successfully?
I don't want to sound like a teacher here.
Well, that's okay, because that's what you're doing.
But usually what I like to do is I like to get everything bad out of the way. And let's say you have a good idea during school or chores. Take a little piece of scrap paper. It can even be a Post-it note. Write it down, and then when you get a chance, maybe I usually take a little bit of time in my evening or during the morning, especially in the morning, because that's when those creative juices are flowing.
Oh.
Just maybe take a 20 to
Mine too, that's funny.
20 to 30 minute period to just sketch out your comics, do the panels, or even just get a feel for like what you're going to do. Maybe just do some stick figures, show the positions they're gonna be in, stuff like that.
So, are you telling me you have little pieces of paper stuck all over your bedroom?
No, I have a folder where I take not this folder, a different folder, and it's just crammed full of my ideas,
Perfect.
all sorts of stuff. It's just where I keep it.
And what's funny is I know a couple of authors that write out full-length books, not that do the comic books. They do the same thing. Is they will write notes for themselves and they'll keep it in a file folder or something and then create the book around it.
You don't have to have like a slanting table, a ginormous light.
Right.
You could have a piece of copy paper and a really cheap pencil, and boom,
And go for
you're
it.
an author.
So, do you
Thank you, Nicole.
consider
Welcome.
do you consider a comic book author equivalent to a standard book author?
Absolutely. Comic books are a different way of displaying ideas.
Correct. I would actually take it a step further and say the comic book requires artistic ability as well
Yes.
as drawing, unless you have somebody else draw, but you do
A
both.
good example of that is Roald Dahl. You know, he could write his own books, but he hired, I don't remember his name and that's shameful, but the illustrator, Quinn Blank, so thanks Dad. But he would do those drawings and it gave a lot more life to the book itself.
So I have people asking what your Instagram is again.
Okay. My Instagram is T-Rex, like the dinosaur, T-R-E-X _roar _comics. And instead of an X or anything, it's just COMICS.
Also, you can go to the Time Warp page, and I posted the link to his Instagram page on Time Warp's Facebook as well as Instagram. So you can also find it there as well. And it's also on the ad that I posted this
Are
morning.
they asking you any questions? I just
That was the one
Oh.
so far.
What is your Instagram again? Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, and then so cute.
Great shirt.
Oh,
Thank you for
good.
the great shirt.
So go ahead and have a seat. So some of your best books are Crazy Cat.
Yeah.
And who else?
Well, I brought some here.
Oh, show us.
I have Dennis the Menace. This is one I just got really recently at a vintage shop, Ye Olde Toy Shop. So I really like comics.
Ye Olde Toy Shop right here in St. Clair Shores. Visit
Yes.
them, check them out.
So yeah, it's not sponsored, but I do thank you for this book. So usually it's actually really easy for me to just find a comic book I love, just read a comic book and fall in love with it. And there are many different illustrations that people have done, and so
So Dennis the Menace has been around forever.
it has been around forever. But this has been around since
Look
the
at this.
1950s. This is really hard to find. This is called the Harvey Girls. This is Harvey Comics. Have you ever heard of Richie Rich? Well, these all sort of tie into it. It's really hard to find. I got this on discount, luckily, for Christmas. And I mean, you have these and some of these, here's some of the work for you. And I'm really appreciative of my parents for getting it.
Let me read
This
this
is
question. So Harvey Girls is also Harvey is also an award that is given to comic book artists and authors. So is a Harvey Award something you want?
Yes, absolutely. But still, writing is its own reward. Just
Well,
having
That is
books.
excellent.
Yes, it is. Having a goal to strive to is also a great thing to have, because you were holding up the Emmy earlier saying,
Yes.
"Oh, I want one of these." Well, you know what? Once your comic book becomes a TV series for
Yes.
Netflix, you'll win an Emmy.
Yeah, wouldn't it be
So I
awesome?
have somebody saying my granddaughter is doing virtual school due to illness and loves to draw. I find you very informative and creative.
Thank
Aw,
you.
yay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kathleen.
It's very nice. Thank you, Kathleen.
So that's one of the reasons that we are talking to
He's
you,
a
Lee,
joy.
today, is because I think it's important to get a perspective of comic books and all sorts of stuff from all different ages, especially when you have somebody that's talented. What do you have here?
So I have a book that's even harder to find. I doubt anybody has ever heard of this. No, all the kids I know that are my age have never heard of it. This is called Little Lulu, and it absolutely has to be my favorite comic.
You're right. The younger people aren't going to, but the older people will
Yes.
know about that.
This came out around the 1950s, 1940s.
Hey, Jason, this is right up your alley.
Look at this.
It's-
This is beautiful.
Nice.
He's the one who does it.
This is actually my favorite book.
Little Lulu.
It's actually by
Stand back a little bit. Your face is...
Sorry.
No.
John Stan
Yeah,
Lee.
so they can see
He
it.
bought this a lot. John Stan Lee has actually done a lot of
So
books.
somebody said they loved her.
Oh, well, I'm glad you know what Little Lulu is. I have like 4 giant-sized little. That's my childhood. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I have 4 giant-sized Little Lulus. Like a few single books I got at Liberty Comics, and this which I got for my birthday.
That takes me right into the next question I have for you.
Awesome.
So I understand you went to your first comic type, not necessarily convention, but
The swap meet.
the swap meet that was more comic driven.
Mhm.
What did you think of it?
It was absolutely amazing. And don't be fooled by the name. They had Funko Pops, Pokemon cards. I even got a few custom Lego figures. One of my favorite things I got was a Darkseid versus Galactus.
Oh, nice.
This was a...
I have no idea what that is, but nice.
it's hard to find, and I was really glad
It's a
to get
comic.
it. Mhm.
What'd you like
Awesome.
about it the most?
I think my favorite was just seeing, sort of those two collaborate, Marvel and DC,
Mhm.
and have just one really nice...
Oh no, this would Marvel
So-
and DC
So
collaborate.
that's what.
Yes,
It'll probably be a movie coming soon.
they've collaborated multiple times.
Ties
What was
awesome.
that? Amalgam?
Amalgam where they smushed
Thanks for watching,
Yes.
stuff
Ty.
together.
This is our our young man Yuli. He is an excellent cartoonist.
You know, I think it's really important for a lot of people who want to be aspiring comic book artists or draw or do any of that to take a little bit of the past and the present and combine them into something like with the Little Lulu and the Harveys and then something newer, and which was what you just
Oh, we
talked
got a
about.
heart.
And use those together. Do you find reading the older stuff and the newer stuff and combining that information together helps you in writing?
Yes, I do, because I feel that it shows you what they did back then, and it shows you what they do now, and you can combine the ideas of back in the day,
Mhm.
sort of see what it was like, and combine the newer stuff today and sort of make your own comic. They're
Nice.
great examples, and
They'll also, I think, then become, but all age groups will like them.
yes.
Exactly.
They'll become attracted to all age groups. So you've got people who, love Little Lulu or the Harvey Girls or, Richie Rich, stuff like that. Calvin and Hobbes, and then the people who love the newer stuff, which I could not tell you a thing. Throw out some names.
What's the newer stuff? Do you know?
I don't read much of the newer stuff.
What's the newest that you read?
Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur.
And
I
when
have
did that
no
come out?
idea.
That came
What, 5
out.
years?
It came out around 2012, but they've continued it. I think the latest I have is from 2019.
2019.
Yes.
Okay, so using both, I think, is important, and I think that's a great. What's this one?
This is Calvin and Hobbes.
Speaking of Calvin and Hobbes,
and probably
oops, I'm sorry.
it's okay. This is probably everyone's childhood, and it's absolutely great. Honestly, if you're just getting to comics, I would really recommend reading this because it gives you a feel And I was really sad when I heard that Bill Watterson was no longer doing it. But it's a great comic, and I think you'll really enjoy it. Here's an example for you. A bushel is a unit of weight equal to 4 pecks. What's a peck? And Hobbs says, a quick smooch.
Oh my gosh, you're pulling my heartstrings.
You know, I don't understand math at all. And Hobbs is the stuffed tiger Calvin gets, and they go on all sorts of adventures. You'll really love this. Honestly, you have to read
But we're
this.
not.
That's awesome. I love that you like go all the way back. Like your favorite is Little Lulu. That so many people like for your
Actually,
age.
I'm not sure I have a favorite comic.
Yeah, you
if I-
appreciate them all.
And here's a couple more before I stop showing you a ton of comics.
Okay, so I agree with you, Kathleen, 100%, and I attribute 100% of that to his mother and father.
Oh, definitely. I don't even. I just know.
So what she writes
Oh,
is, we're freezing up again. Well, bear with us because
Bear
we
with
can't
us.
stop this again.
We
So,
have 5 viewers.
somebody, what'd you say?
5 watching us.
Well, that 5 on top of these.
Okay.
She writes, the young man is very articulate, and a great example of our future leadership.
Thank you. That's a compliment. Thank you. So here's something even older than Little Lulu.
Are we still freezing up? Go ahead.
This is from 1910 to 1926. This is Little Nemo by Windsor Mckay.
know that.
And
And not to be confused with Disney's Little Nemo.
yes. And
Finding
besides
Nemo.
George Harriman also did some very old stuff. You sort of need to read Little Lulu to sort of transition to how they say. So if you read some of the older comics, you'll realize sort of how they talk and how they, sort of say things. And you'll hear about how terrible inflation is, that it used to be 5 cents for a soda. What are they called? Fountain soda?
Yeah,
Soda
fountain
fountain.
soda.
Soda fountain.
Now, the fountain soda was 5 cents when this was.
No, actually it was in Little Lulu, it was
Right.
5 cents.
So 5 cents back in that day, back in the time, could get you more than just a soda.
Yes.
It could probably pay your car payment.
And
No.
and 1
Close.
cent could
We
get
all
you,
make $1,000 a year.
and 1 cent could get you a lollipop.
Oh, yes.
Imagine a penny turned into a lollipop.
Yep. So I think it's great. What else do you have here? You have Oz. Oh, I love Frank Braun. So what type of what's the word I'm looking for? I just lost my
don't know.
wording. What
Where
type
was
of
it?
inspiration did you get from Baum and Oz?
I'm not sure. Sort of the
No,
fantasy and really how you can just let your mind go.
Mhm.
Imagine whatever you want. Because seriously, most ideas, if you just stick to like what people have done, and you have to go off the rails a little bit to get inspiration. Here's another one that you have to read, Peanuts. You probably know what Peanuts is if you've ever watched, Charlie Brown Christmas.
So I got to tell you, growing up, all of us our
Snoopy.
age remember about Peanuts.
We
What?
Wah 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 wah.
Yeah.
The teacher.
Yes. How they would use the wheel.
Yep. But that's awesome.
Snoopy's my favorite.
Yeah, and honestly, Snoopy is the Flying Baron, the first dog on the moon.
Oh,
I have a question for you that's going to make you think. Have a seat.
Sure.
I bet he's gonna have a great answer.
What do you find frustrating, or what don't you like about comic books today that you read?
I feel like they don't really use as good of ideas, or they're more grown-up comics, and everyone's sort of focused on gory and offensive.
There are quite a few of those.
Oh yeah,
And it's
not
like-
offensive. Yeah, you're right. I
What-
don't like that.
What
So-
happened to Batman? What happened to animated Batman?
Well, they
What-
all turned offensive.
Yeah.
So, what are you going to do in your comics to make sure that doesn't happen?
I'm just going to stick to a Charles Schultz or Calvin and Hobbes. And that's probably, and you can see why they were such a big hit. Because people found it relatable too. They found it, and even kids could read it. Because it's great.
Definitely.
It's amazing, honestly, what people did back then. And how what they've procrastinated to today.
So, outside of comics, what else do you like?
Comedy movies. I figure next time we should talk about like comedy movies and sort of like that.
Mm-hmm. We wanted to keep tying in your Instagram though, because we need to go to his Instagram. T-Rex. Go ahead.
T-Rex, like the dinosaur. TREX _roar _comics. That's my Instagram account. You can go and see what you like about it.
I wanted to ask you a question. Now, your comics are on there, and so I love how descriptive. I love all the colors. I like how some of them are kind of, they're funny, but
There's
some
variety.
of them, it's a total variety. Some are silly, some are heartwarming, some are funny, some really are in depth and make you think, like kind of blow your mind a little bit. And then even some are a little political, kind of, not too much, but kind of neat, like in this day and age, but not off. What's your most favorite, like, do you just, I know you get your ideas from every day, like your parents, or doing just stuff like when you're with your mom or your dad, or when you're in school and you just keep your notes and stuff. I lost my train of thought because I'm old.
No, go ahead.
But,
you actually asked the question.
Yeah, I did ask a question. Like, what is your favorite? Like, do you just...
To write about.
To write about. Do you like silly? Do you like...
I just like action. I like for there to be a great story. And honestly, I just like there to be a ton of sound effects. There just to be...
I like that.
Zap.
Very good. I like
Like
that.
the old Batman.
Yeah, like
you're
old
very,
Batman.
And I like how you're descriptive. So if you're not exactly writing it, I like that with your drawing, the descriptions
Right,
there.
I've come so far that I can sort of like, no offense, like come so far, but like what I'm trying to say is I can sort of see it in my mind and how I would draw that out, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like if I could sort of imagine, like if I came up with one of my plots where, because Dopey Dad hasn't been in many strips. This is a bit of a spoiler alert.
Oh.
For a new comic.
I gotta figure out how to do things where it says spoiler alert.
Oh, you actually will. Maybe.
I will.
Yeah.
Mm.
But it's a spoiler alert. So I'm coming up with a strip where, because Dopey Dad hasn't been in much, where Dopey Dad comes in and Yuli's drawing his comic, and I can sort of imagine that, how I would draw it, how Dopey Dad would look, the expressions, the position, the lighting, sort of like that, or the colors you would use.
So it's like a movie visual, like everything's already in your head and then you put it down.
It's like if you took your phone and you took a snapshot of a pre-made comic and you send it up to my mind, and in my brain I go into viewing mode and boom.
I love
There's
that.
a picture of it.
That is awesome.
Will you ever, like, I don't know if your parents would allow, but would you ever, like how people talk on their Instagram? Would you ever,
That would be a conversation between mom and dad first.
Mm-hmm. I was just wondering if you ever wanted to. I probably should
Well,
have said
eventually,
it.
possibly.
Yeah, possibly.
But until he's older and has his own stuff, he
Right.
will go through his mom and dad to do
Sorry
it.
about
Who's-
that.
Who knows,
Good
maybe
question.
one day I'll have my own animated Dopey Dad YouTube channel.
One day you will.
Mhm.
Because you're not going to be 11 forever.
I'm not going to.
No.
And 2021 went by fast for
Yes.
us, but 2022 is just...
And I do want to
Snail.
say, because we touched base on some of the plots of your stories.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when we're talking political, we're not talking political.
Yeah, not like,
Okay.
yeah, I'm
We're
glad
talking
you said
just
that.
current events.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
current
so,
events.
not to worry about that. And
Thank you.
it's more kid driven. So, having your grandkids, your kids read this stuff, it's fantastic.
Yes.
Go on there, take a look. It's awesome.
And
Thank
I'll
you for
notice a
saying
lot of kids are really skeptical at first, but they get their nose in that book and their mind is blown about how good it is.
So I'm a huge reader.
Mhm.
Okay, and those of you who know me know that I'm a huge reader. I've sometimes got 2-3 books going at a time,
Yes.
and novels. Do you love to read outside of comics? Do you like to read? And I don't mean like the Calvin and Hobbes and stuff
Yes.
like that. I mean novels. Do you like to read novels, graphic novels, standard novels? What is your favorite?
I brought a little list here. Probably my
Wow.
my favorites are I really like prose novels but I also like the novels that at least include a little illustration. I don't mean it to be a picture book, but something like, not the Big Nate comic, but the Big Nate books you buy. And they're like the story, but they have little images, like little comics to show you what's sort of going on.
So what are these authors?
These are some of my favorite books.
Oh, very good.
So Winnie the Pooh, Hatchet by Gary Paulson, great survival story.
I read that.
Wizard of Oz, like I said,
This one?
I have the comic adaptation, but me and my dad have also read
You've
the
read the
actual book. We've got to this.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah, we have ginormous collections of them. I'm hoping the counter doesn't.
Oh, I know
collapse.
both your mother and father well, and I
Yes.
know that they have books for you.
Series of Unfortunate Events,
Mhm.
which is 3 kids who go on crazy adventures, really mysterious, and you can learn some good new words because they have that in like every book. Andrew Clements, an author of Lunch Money, Laundry News. You know, the author of Frindle. Remember when you were in high school or something? I can't remember. But when Frindle came out, he's the author of Frindle. You know, the book about the pen.
These are books that he is suggesting that you have your kids and grandkids read.
Yes. Or you read if you haven't read them.
Correct.
Harry
I read it.
Potter, which you have heard of. The movies are good, but the books are much better.
That's right.
I am.
I've read them all.
Sherlock Holmes, which sounds like you're just diving into a tomb of books. But trust me, it's good. You just have to read it. And Houdini and Me, which
I
is...
read that book.
Is it good?
I know. Have you read that one?
Houdini and Me, yeah.
Yes. Oh, that was an amazing book. I loved it.
Mhm.
It's a
And
novel.
once you pick up some of these books, you can't stop reading it. Final one,
Mhm.
News for Dogs,
Ooh.
and what else? News for Dogs, Hunger Games, and Hotel for Dogs.
Hunger Games, the books were really good.
Yes, the books are better than the movies. They left a ton out.
Have you read any Agatha Christie?
I haven't read any Agatha Christie.
Have you?
Yeah.
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 Okay, because she's one of my favorite authors.
She's the best-selling author of all time.
Is she?
Oh, is she?
She is.
Oh,
Wow.
she's got a movie coming out right
Yeah.
soon.
Does she?
Yeah, with Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman. So that is awesome. So
Like
Thank
it.
you.
those are
Thank
books.
you.
Those are books that
We're
you
shaking
suggest.
hands every 1 minute.
All right.
Those are books you suggest that they
Yes.
read, that they suggest that their kids or grandkids read.
Yes, or even you read if you haven't heard of it.
Right. And it should be an easy read for all of us. So, there you go. Can you believe this? This is
Well,
awesome.
Sherlock Holmes isn't. They're British. No offense if you're British,
Victorian.
but that was.
Was it more difficult to read? Was
It's
it
a
like
little more difficult to read, so I'd suggest some of the other books first because those are better, and then when we get to Sherlock Holmes,
Sherlock
it's
Holmes.
not my favorite.
It runs with like Agatha Christie and Mary Shelley and all of them who have a more
Yeah.
European style of writing.
And it's better than Goosebumps, if
Jeremy
I'm being
Paulson.
honest.
So we read all
he
the
falls
Tarzan
asleep when he
adventures
listens to
together.
any kind of British if
And-
he started reading.
Also, another good, 2 more good books is Tarzan.
Oh yeah.
3 books,
Ooh,
and
yeah.
they're all amazing. About a little boy who gets raised by a monkey, and then,
Tarzan's been around since before
Woo!
anybody watching.
Yes. And finally, the Goosebumps series.
Oh,
It's
one of
not
my
exact.
favorite.
I really love
Yes.
it. I was in a Goosebumps craze for the longest time in school, so.
One of my favorites.
Well, you
So,
are
Thank you so
knowledgeable.
much.
You're welcome.
So I've been asked a few times on here about making him a regular, and we are talking about a monthly time that he's going to come.
Yes.
And we will not only be talking about comic books, we'll touch base on his comic books as well as his Instagram, because I want you to jump over there and follow it. We'll also be talking, are you a big old movie buff?
I am.
Ooh.
That's another thing for next time.
Yes, it is, because I'm going to tell you, Steve is a huge old movie buff. And
Ooh.
so is
The three
both
of
his
these
parents.
guys
So maybe
together
we
are
can
gonna
wrangle
go
him in
make
here to
the
talk with you about.
There is so much stuff I could tell you about old comedy movies that it would take up 2 hours. And I'm like, before we stop, I want to show you guys. How much time have we got left?
No, go ahead, because
Yeah,
you
it's
do
important.
this and then we'll wrap it up. Or and I will wrap it up.
So, now that you've seen how I did my comics, I figure you better see this.
Aw.
Here's the cover.
Awesome.
This is the cover for my new comic book I'm making. This one will actually maybe come out on Etsy. I'm not sure.
Ooh,
You're gonna sell them?
I might sell
you
them.
should publish it.
I will
Do it.
publish it.
Maybe next time we'll have a published author.
Yes.
I actually know some publishers.
Oh, I got goosebumps. I'm excited
So I
for
printed
you.
out my strips in all black and I cut them. Don't worry, they're not the originals. I cut
Are these
them
going
up.
to be available on Instagram? You could do IGTV to have
We'll
these
have to
put
talk
up.
about it. It's news. to
It's a
me.
whole thing.
We were just talking about getting one hardbound copy because we saw that story in the news about the young man who had done his own graphic novel.
And then put it in the
Put it in the
library,
library.
and then stuck it in the library,
Over
and it became
160
yes.
people. Lately
So,
got to get
okay.
that out,
So this is not going to be
Really?
available.
That's
You'll have to go to a library and find it.
Yeah,
maybe.
that's what we might do. I'll give one copy to you, library, but then the rest I'll have to sell. Because I've noticed when people put it on hold, especially me, you'll put a book on hold, but you'll get sick of waiting and you'll just go and buy it.
Yeah. Okay, before we let you two go real quick, what's your favorite vintage old movie actor or actress?
Marx Brothers.
Tell them.
Harpo Marx.
Really? Do you know that who her best friend was? Who his best friend was?
No.
Lucille Ball.
I did.
Woo!
I know he met Amelia Earhart.
Yeah. I'm sure a lot of people back then did.
Yes.
So-
Lucille Ball, we love
If you don't
Not
know
a lot
what
of people even know who they are, let alone 11-year-olds.
If you don't know what
She's still
the
alive.
Marx Brothers are, you need to stop watching right now. Go over, look up Marx Brothers, and see what it is. It's amazing, beautiful, changed my childhood.
Aww,
And what is
love
yours?
that.
Gosh, I struggle between Cary Grant and Jimmy Stewart a lot of the time, but then I'm also really fond of Gary Cooper and Clark Gable.
Throw out a woman.
I really like Miriam Hopkins is probably my all-time favorite. She's not as storied as some of the others, but there's something about her, just in her carriage
That
and
you
the way
just
she
love.
expresses herself.
Who's your favorite female?
I wouldn't say I have one.
Check out the Harpo Marx and Lucille Ball. You'll probably like
Okay.
Lucille Ball. Who's yours?
Yeah, because you said you were asking. Now it fell right on my head, and I have a book of her and everything. No, I love. It sounds
Lucille
funny.
Ball.
I love Lucille Ball. I love her back in the day when she did like the movies with like. Didn't she do movies with like Danny Kaye and
Not Lucille Ball.
Not Lucille Ball.
You're thinking of
I like Gene Kelly. I like a lot of
the
the
Western
dance
one.
musical. I like a lot of
Debbie
dance and
Reynolds?
musicals.
Debbie Reynolds,
Oh,
maybe?
okay.
or the other one from Pillow Talk.
Yeah.
And when I was
Although
younger,
I will
I
tell you,
used-
Lucille's in a movie with the Marx Brothers. She's
Is
one
it?
of the-
Yeah,
Is
one
she?
of
that's how they met.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well,
That's
then
how they
I will
met.
check
Yeah.
it out.
So my favorite is Lucille Ball, and I got to tell you, and a lot of people. I mean, I like a lot of people. I love her name threw up right out of my head. Pillow
She
Talk.
did too.
Oh, not Doris Day.
Doris Day.
Yeah.
Love
Oh,
Doris
okay.
Day because
oh, she's great.
any picture that's in Technicolor, I will sit and watch. Absolutely love it.
If it's in black and white.
No. And so I'm not a big black and white fan. Not even the new black and white. The Lucille Ball. I got a quick story. So
Yes.
Lucille Ball passed away in
80s.
late 80s, 87, 88. And I was living in California, and a friend of mine, Sandy, and I decided that we were going to go up to Hollywood and for when she passed away. And they put this huge banner out that God needed a laugh in heaven. So, you know, and all this type of stuff. And we went to her star and sat on it, and there were so many flowers everywhere that you can see of it. So I happen to know where Lucy lived.
Stalker.
So we went to Lucy's house, and we sat on her front lawn. And do you know, to this day, her daughter probably knows us because she came flying out that door screaming at us, "Get off our lawn! Get off our lawn!" And I felt so bad because her mother had just died.
Aw.
But I was that literally happened.
If she's
I was,
watching.
I was 16 or 17 years old at the time.
So you just walk across her.
No,
lawn?
we sat
Yeah,
by
they
the
just
sidewalk
sat.
on the lawn.
Yeah, so it's kind of like,
And so
you know,
she
But
came
apparently I
running
wasn't
out.
the first.
And she came running out screaming, "Get off the lawn!"
Oh, Ginger Rogers is a good one.
Oh, Ginger Rogers. I love Ginger Rogers and Fred Astaire. I used to watch them dancing all the time.
Yes.
Love, love, love.
Ginger Rogers is a really good one. So that's my story with Lucille Ball. I mean, I have a few others, like we wanted to
Another
climb over
one,
the fence.
If
and
you like the
steal a
Three
horn.
Stooges or the Marx Brothers, is Abbott and Costello.
Oh, yes,
Yes.
yes.
Abbott and Costello, boom. I feel like if this
who
video
else
should
do I
just
like?
be
I
a
don't know.
compilation of
I'd
us
have to
kiss
see.
butts.
Yes.
I do like you said his name, Clark
Yeah,
Gable.
Clark Gable.
like I said, I don't watch a lot of black and white movies, so once it goes past there, it's a hard time. Angela Lansbury, and don't laugh at me, but I love her.
No, she was
Absolutely love her.
gorgeous when she was.
One of my
I would say-
favorite people in the whole
I would say
world.
it's much the same, probably for any medium, but comics and film as well, is that if you don't understand the roots of it, you're not familiar with the beginnings of it and the characters and the persona that made it what it was,
Right.
you're not going to be able to appreciate as much or in its deep depth
Go ahead, do that.
what's come since then.
Don't all movies start out with
This is
little
one of my
glasses and
oldest
drawings?
dopey dad. Oh,
Stillborn,
and
so-
Stillborn.
Jason approved me. But this is one of the oldest dopey dad sketches. Well, not the oldest, but I did a cast of characters, a
Oh,
sketch. So
yes, I knew what oh, wait, what is this?
it's a cast of characters I did.
Oh, how cool! Your dog, Barnabas, Finn, your
Oh, yeah.
cat.
That's
Oh, I
a
thought
real
this was the one with Disney.
Oh
no, that's just the characters.
That's what I thought he was showing.
Right.
So over here I have Finn, my dad's cat. I have Barnabas, Dopey Dad, Mystery Baker. Instead of smoke, for some reason, I did a piece of tape with blue on it. I have me here playing with with one of my best friends, Henry. We haven't talked much, but I sent him a letter a while ago. Rodney Dangervest, which you will find
Rodney
out
Dangervest?
next Sunday when I post
I love that. Roger Dangervest.
When I post my next Sunday strip, you will find out who Rodney Dangervest is.
That is cool.
Not at all inspired by Rodney Dangerfield or Rex Dangervest. Hashtag Lego Movie 2. Then you have Jade up here, another cat, Sophie and Cheney, real life cat. And then I have, that's everybody. Actually, yeah, that's everybody. So here's the
Awesome.
That's your cast.
cast of
That's
stars.
your cast.
And
But
you got a heart.
here-
Look at that. Come on back. sit down.
Awesome.
Thanks
Um,
for the hearts.
So
Thanks.
Laurel and Hardy
Unruly.
is absolutely somebody. My father used to love Laurel and Hardy.
Yeah.
My mother loves Laurel and Hardy. I just wish they would have named the movie Laurel and Hardy so more people would know who it is instead of Stan and Ollie.
Right.
Everybody went, who the heck is that?
Isn't that weird?
You know.
Yeah, why didn't they do that?
But Laurel and Hardy, maybe. You know. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, totally.
It has been
Thank
a
you so
pleasure.
much. Yes, it has. So we're gonna wrap up. If you guys want to step off for a second,
Thank you,
Okay,
Jason.
we'll step
you
And,
can come back and all this. Don't worry.
and
So
cartoon character is Unruly Yuli.
he's unruly Yuli,
But
And
his-
thank you guys for watching.
and you will see him next month.
That's all, folks. That's perfect.
So we went over a little bit, but that's okay because we had somebody who you needed to hear.
Yes, thank you guys. I hope you really enjoyed it. I mean, it looks like you guys were really thank you so much for your hearts, and
Yes.
you could tell Ulysses, that's his name, Ulysses.
Mhm.
He has the wisdom and a great heart, and he's good at his art, so we want to support
So
him.
thank you for those of you who jumped over and followed him, who said that you followed him during the show. Also, you want to go to T-Rex _ roar _ comics, COMICS. Also,
Thank you
give us a
guys.
like here on Facebook. Jump over to Instagram, give us a like.
Yes.
Also, YouTube, follow us on YouTube, Time Warp Vintage. This will be on YouTube and Instagram tomorrow.
Awesome.
And as always, Nicole and I are so happy you follow us.
Yeah, we really appreciate it.
We enjoy it so much.
We have lots of fun today, and thank
Yes.
you so much. We really appreciate you guys.
Have a happy Valentine's Day.
happy week. A nice,
Have
safe,
a great
good week.
day, a great, safe Super Bowl weekend.
Yes, definitely safe.
Remember, call Uber. Remember, call Lyft.
Yes.
Ask somebody
Call
to
a
drive
friend.
you. Anything, we want to see you afterwards.
Yes. And
So,
thank you for all the comments. Thank you
Yes.
for all the hearts. We love all the hearts. It makes us very grateful and thankful. And thanks for coming into the store. Come on in and come and see us.
yeah,
We'd love
we
to
got
see
a ton
you.
of stuff.
Aw, we both have been adorable.
Well, thank you. And you guys have a great night. We're not going to keep you any longer. So, go enjoy your evening.
Yes.
Bye, you guys.
Bye.